To determine the number of salespeople by region who have 50 or more orders, we use the COUNTIFs function. First, we select the region cell range, and I press F4 to make this an absolute cell reference. Then we select the criteria it needs to meet. In this case, the region is East. Then we select the cell range for the number of orders and the criteria it needs to meet, greater than or equal to 50, in cell G2. I'm using a cell reference for the criteria instead of hard-coding it into the formula so that I can easily change it if I want to. In the East region, there is one person with 50 or more orders. Let's walk through this. First, the function evaluates how many cells in the region cell range, B2 through B7, are equal to East. In this example, there are two, Bob and Sue. Of these two, it then evaluates how many have orders greater than or equal to 50, cell G2. In this case, it's just Bob. COUNTIFs applies criteria to cells across multiple ranges and counts the number of times all criteria are met. This is the syntax of the COUNTIFs function. Criteria range 1 is required. It's the first range that's evaluated. Criteria 1 is required. It's the criteria by which criteria range 1 is evaluated. Criteria range 2, criteria 2, and so on are optional. Each additional range must have the same number of rows and columns as criteria range 1, but they don't have to be adjacent to each other. You can use the question mark and asterisk wildcard characters in criteria. Now we want to determine the sales by region where the salesperson has 50 or more orders. We can do this with the SUMIFs function. First, we select the range of cells we want to add. In this case, the range of cells in the sales column. I press F4 to make this an absolute cell reference. Next, we select the first cell range we want to evaluate, the 4 regions in the regions column. Then, we select the criteria that the range will be evaluated by. In this case, East, cell F2. Then we select the range of cells for the number of orders and the criteria, greater than or equal to 50, in cell G2. In the East region, the total sales by sales reps with orders greater than or equal to 50 is $49,017. Let's walk through this. It's similar to the COUNTIFs function. First, the function evaluates how many cells in the region column's range of cells are equal to East. There are two. Bob and Sue are the salespeople for the East region. Of these two, it then evaluates how many have orders greater than or equal to 50. For East, it's just Bob. Lastly, the function adds the cells from the range of cells in the sales column where all the corresponding criteria are met. Bob is the only salesperson from the East region to meet all of the criteria, so the results of the function is Bob's sales figure. SUMIFs adds the cells in a range that meet multiple criteria. This is the syntax of the SUMIFs function. Sum range is required. It's one or more cells to sum. Blank and text values are ignored. Criteria range 1 is required. It's the first range that's evaluated. Criteria 1 is required. It's the criteria by which criteria range 1 is evaluated. criteria range 2, criteria 2, and so on are optional. Each cell in the sumRange argument is summed only if all the corresponding criteria specified are true for that cell. Each criteria range argument must contain the same number of rows and columns as the sumRange argument. You can use the question mark and asterisk wildcard characters in criteria. Up next, the average ifs and if-err functions.